Hey, welcome to a new episode of the Console Log. This is the episode 23 for the past week, which was January 15th to January 21st. And I got some Twizzlers, and they're very tasty. But it's going to be a good episode this week. There's some really exciting things that happened this past week that I'm going to tell you about. Also, I've been working on a new website for the Console Log, where I'm actually going to have a nice little archive of all these links that I've been collecting over these weeks and episodes, because it's nice to actually have a nice way to refer back to them at some point and actually see what you actually learned about and actually say, hey, I have this solution coworker that I learned about from the Console Log. Well, in any case, let me just get on with the show. Our website's coming up, but let's start the show. First news item of the week is all about everybody's favorite framework, React. For the past couple of weeks, there was a PR put up on the React RC GitHub repo page. This PR for this RC was very long, as was the RC itself. You can see this RC has a lot of text here. The PR itself also was pretty long and thorough, with many people commenting on it. And the thoroughness was with merit, because it's potentially and going to change the API methods used on the lifecycle hooks of a React component. So what does that actually mean? That means that the three lifecycle methods, component will mount, component will update, and component will receive props, are all on the track to be deprecated and eventually removed in React 17, which is a little ways out, so do not panic. But they're actually going to add a new lifecycle method, a actual static method called getDerive State from props. And the big deal and reason for these changes is that they are looking, as React moves more towards async rendering and trying to be a little bit more creative with how they actually render your React applications, they need to have a little bit more of a safe way to call these lifecycle methods. So this change is preparation for this eventual improvement and optimization of having async rendering in your React applications. What does that mean for you today? It means nothing, which is good, because stay calm, serenity. First plan is to add these API methods without deprecating the old ones. So you'll have these new API methods and you can use them if you want to. After that release, then they're going to then have a deprecation warning if you are still using these old component lifecycle methods. And then the big change with React 17 is to actually remove those API methods. So this is going to be a big shift, hopefully one that has a very nice migration path forward, but this is going to be a thing that's going to be coming down in React 17. Again, if you always stay up to date with React component, with your React applications, stay up to date with the versions, and you fix any deprecation warnings that occur when you upgrade, you will have no hard time in upgrading, but this is a thing that is coming down the pike. It's pretty exciting. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how things go, but it was just merged into React Master, so that means that it is definitely coming. So the circle of life keeps on going on. Simba, just don't go where the lifecycle methods are not safe. Second news item of the week is that Bootstrap has officially released version 4.0 final. The final version of Bootstrap 4.0 is now out in the wild, and you are ready to go use it right now. This is after years of work trying to get everything in order. In many ways, Bootstrap 4 is a representation of a shift in deprecating old things that were not really that were holding back the framework for old operating systems, and things that they actually can now use because they're a little bit more unencumbered from legacy. So with Bootstrap 4, they're actually dropping support for IE 8, IE 9, and iOS 6 support. Which is to say that Bootstrap 4 is only supporting IE 10 Plus and iOS 7 Plus. I guess now the bottom bar of what you can actually support. So it's pretty exciting to see the web being pushed forward and old browsers just being forgotten, because you can't keep driving an old car with so many miles on it. You gotta eventually just put it out into the junkyard, right? Cool new things also about Bootstrap 4 is that it is now using Flexbox by default. It is now, Flexbox has enough support for Bootstrap to feel comfortable to actually have that be the default layout mechanism. They also switched from less to Sass, switched from PX to REM, which is pretty cool. I wish I used REM more in my applications nowadays. And they also increased the global font size, which for me with my glasses, it is a much welcome change from 14 pixels to 16 pixels. Now I'll actually be able to see some of these websites that everyone makes. So Bootstrap 4, very cool. Upgrade now if you can, or if you're starting a new application, be sure to check that out from the get-go. Hocus pocus shimmery-ocus. I think I've talked about in the past this thing called Houdini. Houdini is a set of API tools that are being built into browsers that allow you to programmatically control, extend, and augment the behavior of CSS on your website. And the most exciting thing is that one of the first APIs in this umbrella of Houdini CSS APIs is going stable in the next version of Chrome, which is like, I was anticipating this to happen much further on in the future, which is further on in the future, but it's happening soon, this month. This API is the CSS Paint API. Not the most exciting of all the APIs, but I guess that's at least a step forward that they have something that's pretty safe to actually add to stable. But this CSS Paint API lets you actually programmatically generate an image with CSS properties, which means that now instead of having to actually go out and get an image, you can actually just use this programmatic API to create these really nice, pretty background images. Like the example they have on the website is making a checkered background, but actually having the ability to do that programmatically as opposed to using an image is pretty damn cool. So this is, I mean, the thing that I'm most excited about is that Houdini is coming. Houdini is coming. We can actually potentially make our own custom like masonry grid systems using the actual API that's provided for. So it's very exciting to have this in the core. Just very, very excited about it. And last but not least, in the land of JavaScript, proposals are always being thrown out into the ether. People are just trying to say, hey, how can we change JavaScript this way? They want to make this thing happen and that thing happen. Well, another thing is happening in that process. The TC39 committee, this is the committee of people that meet, discuss how they actually want to extend and modify the JavaScript language itself. There was a new proposal that actually made it from stage 0, which means very experimental, to stage 1, which is the pipeline operator. The pipeline operator is a way of passing data through multiple functions. It is a highly functional programming approach to creating your applications, and having this operator actually can make using this functional style a little bit more easy to use. I'm always just amazed at the things that are coming to JavaScript. It is this like weird amalgam of like all these different like things, but you usually right now see the pipeline operator in like F#, OCaml, Elixir, and Elm, but going from stage 0 to stage 1 means that, hey, this could be a good idea. Let's explore this a little bit more. You can see a picture of it here where you have some data that is being passed from the top to another function, and eventually you get the result out the bottom. JavaScript language continues to evolve and grow. This isn't going to happen anytime soon, but if you did want to use it, there is a Babel transform already ready for you to integrate and use in your applications. I would not recommend using it for your production applications because it might be a little bit early. You might get burned by it not being actually adopted, but if you want to play, feel free to play in your playground. And I'll play here in my video playground. But put that in your pipeline and smoke it. Okay, that was the console log. That was just some information that I found very interesting this past week. As I said at the beginning of the video, I am working on a complete website for the console log, putting all these links in one location so that you can actually have a reference for this information that you can see. Included also in the past week, I always have links that don't actually make it into this video because if I included every link, these would probably be 20 minutes long, and I don't even have the patience to make a 20-minute long video. So I'm just going to include those links for your own edification, so you're able to check those out on the website itself. That should be coming out a little bit later on this week, maybe even tonight if I actually get the amount of, if things go well, it'll come out tonight and I'll tweet about it because Twitter is where I tweet. But that was the week. Hope you had fun. It's getting a little bit warmer here in New York City, which I'm very grateful for. I don't have to wear my gloves everywhere. Hopefully it's the weather's being kind to you wherever you may be. So with that I say adios, have a great week coming up, and let your code be as pretty as a pipeline operator. Bye.